patience and bear with us. But I'd like to welcome everyone, and I have our guest with us, which is our police chief, Mr. Eden Garcia. Welcome to the Mayor's Corner.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, Mayor. And I, again, on behalf of myself and the police department, thank you.
Thank you. And just briefly, what we're going to kind of try to do is go through just some updates of what we've been up to these last couple of weeks since our last broadcast. And then our police chief is going to update us on some of the programs or some of the things that are happening at the police department and what their programs they're coming up with.
So yeah, again, thank you for having us. And we've been really busy. And one of the things that we're always looking at is finding ways to improve. And I think that's what's important is finding solutions to our department. Sometimes we have gaps that we have to fill. And we've been very fortunate that we've been reaching out to other communities and other agencies, and they've been willing to help us in return. For example, we had the Wyatt Foundation or Wyatt Ranches Foundation who assist us with $137,000, and that's going to go to the purchase of 3 new vehicles for us. So that goes a long way, and for Mr. Brad Wyatt, and allocating that money and helping us, you don't realize how much that's really, really helped us.
So how soon will our public see those new vehicles out in the streets?
So we're hoping that we've already ordered the units. So we're looking at probably 4 to 5 months before we get these units in.
Okay.
So, we've been making do with what we have. Sheriff Bueno from the Sheriff's Department has been very instrumental in helping us and wanting us to succeed. And he was here for many years as our chief. But he's been willing to help us as sheriff, and he's loaned us vehicles. And so we've been able to get going and to survive, So it's been fun, and it's a challenge, but a challenge that we want to meet head on.
Well, it's exciting. I've seen a lot more collaboration between different entities and the cities, county, and just other organizations coming together, and it's exciting and it's very humbling. I mean, to see this happening, the collaboration that's going on between everyone.
I think as a leader of a community and as chief of police, you have to be humble. You have to allow yourself to seek help from others, and it's okay, and let them know that it's all right.
Yes.
And we forget that, and because we want to take on so much, sometimes we feel that we're a failure if we ask for help, but we don't. We're not failures. That's only going to make us successful as we move forward into the future. It's like I tell the officers, we're going to fail, and it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
That's how we're going to be successful in the future. So I really look forward to that. And but yeah, collaborating with different agencies. Agua Dulce, the city of Agua Dulce, and their marshal. We have a local agreement, so we'll be assisting them. I just spoke to the district attorney out of Nueces County, and together we're talking about an interlocal agreement with Nueces County. So that was going to be awesome. I know we have with the sheriff's department here in Jim Wells. I mean, can't say more than that. I mean, they've been so helpful to us, and we'll be out there working and helping. And we've been working really well together, but it's just going to get better. And as we go and as we seek to improve and as we grow as a city, as a department, it's really going to flourish. So we're excited. Brooks County, we are also Kennedy County. They're out there I want to say out in the middle of nowhere. But, Sheriff Salinas there in Kennedy has also been really helpful to us and helping us with portable radios and stuff.
Working together makes us stronger.
It does.
So it's good to see this happening and exciting, and this will benefit our citizens, our city, and just coming together.
One thing that I'd like to add to this is that, we have, for example, the constable's department here in Jim Wells County. You have Constable Albert Martinez, who was many years gave his time for the Alice PD. And he's been coming by and he helps us and gives us advice. And so we're very, very happy. And what I want officers that retired from this community to know that they're welcome in our department at any time. This is their home. And they gave their time. And, you had Chief Perez, Chief Ramon, Chief Bueno, that served this community. And they deserve that respect from us. And I want them to know that this is their home and they're welcome here at any time.
That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you can go on a little bit, I know that we had our city council meeting
Yes, ma'am.
and we had a little discussion and a decision that was made in reference to going out and trying to renovate or expand possibly your department or building.
So, we've been in this same building for, I guess, over 30 years, and it needs a lot of work. And many in the community that comes into the police department, comes in and they see it's an old building and it needs a lot of work. And so we went to the city, and the city has said and told me when I first came in, we're looking for new buildings for you. We're looking for someplace that we could move you and move the department. And as I sat back and Michael Esparza, our city manager, has worked really well with us. I sat and I talked to him. I said, I want to stay here. I believe if we're going to make downtown the center point of our community and we want it to succeed and we want it to grow, why not start with the police department? And let's grow our department. Let's fix our police department. And first of all, brings pride to the community, brings pride to our officers. And then when new recruits are coming in and we're wanting to hire them, they're coming in and they're looking at our city and they're saying, wow, this is pretty nice, Yeah. So, we're very, very fortunate that this city council has given us the authority to start looking at rebuilding a building that is in need of repairs. And the council has addressed that issue. They've noticed and they verified that, yes, our roof leaks and we have issues. And most older buildings have these issues. But the city council has responded, and with your leadership, Mayor, and it's coming a long way, and I'm very, very fortunate for that, and we're very happy for that.
Well, there's a lot of exciting new projects in the works, and I know that we're still trying very hard because I know there's a lot of need in our city as far as streets and our infrastructure, and we are addressing those and looking at that. And again, we received that $6.9
Yes,
million grant that is going to be wonderful for certain streets that need off of Reynolds that need some drainage and sidewalks and some work.
Yes, ma'am.
But so this is exciting. It's a move in the right direction.
Yes,
And then just serving our public, serving our citizens, and then you had mentioned something about a ranger or.
So what we did in order to, I want to be successful. I want to give this community the best police department we possibly can. And I want to also give my officers the opportunity to grow and to be successful. And so what I did, I went ahead and brought in retired Texas Ranger Matt Seeger to help us and develop our department, to develop our criminal investigation division on how we interact with the community, how we handle a investigation, and it's essential, and we want to be able to, because we provide a service. Honestly, that's what we do, and I want to be there. I want to know this community that we're providing them and giving them the best service that we possibly can, and that's why I'm bringing the best that I know, and I'm humble in knowing that I don't know it all, but I want the people that do, and I want to surround myself with good people. I'm very fortunate in my department. There are great people, but we've done a great job, but we could always be better at what we do. And so for that reason, that's why, and we want to streamline what we're doing, creating efficiency, and creating an effective department. And that's what it's all about for us. So yes, I'm excited about it, and we're going to streamline and we're going to redo our process.
And I know you're working on some projects to also have the officers out there to interact with our citizens and kind of have that opportunity for our children, for our teenagers, for the public to see us and be visible. So you're working on some programs to try to create that.
I'd love to bring them to your attention, and I'd love this community to know what we're doing. So the school district has been really positive, and I've made my way towards the school district, and I've met with our superintendent, and I've met with my assistant superintendent there, and together we've collaborated in finding ways on how we can be effective and how we can, be more proactive. As a police department, we're about enforcement, which is we're always reactive to everything. I always believe we have to be proactive in our stance, and educating our people is crucial. So what we did, and I met with the superintendent, we're creating a hazing program that's been put together by the Alice Police Department and also by our district attorney's office, our county attorney, and our juvenile probation office. And what we're going to do, we're going to educate our athletes in our Alice Independent School District about hazing. What are the laws and how you can get in trouble if this happens or this occurs. And so a lot of times as kids, we don't know, and we think it's funny and we joke around, but there's truly ramifications at the end of the road. So I want to make sure that we're addressing these issues. And letting them know. So we're creating this hazing program that'll be presented to all athletes of the Alice ISD. And we'd be more than glad to share them with any community that wants this program. We'll be more than glad. And it's something that we're developing. We're also developing a program for teachers, letting them know what their rights are as teachers. You're harassed at school by a parent, or you're being threatened. And a lot of times as a teacher, you don't know what to do. I want to give you the tools and let you know what you can do. We also want to address this program with PTA and also with our parents and let them know your rights also, but also what can happen when you go into our schools and you threaten a teacher or, things of that nature. So we want to make sure that we're addressing, because I believe education is important. A lot of times we just don't know. Right? So those are two big programs that we're working on right now with the school district. And there's one more program that's really going to kick off, and it's called Take Me Home program. And I think, and it's, if you have a loved one that's has dementia, Alzheimer's, maybe some type of physical condition or intellectual disability, we're gonna be out there. This program's gonna be about, you're gonna register them with the Alice Police Department, and it's only gonna be for our records. And what we're gonna do, we're also gonna sell. We're not gonna sell, but we're gonna give a little. It's a wristband, the rubber wristbands that they wear, and it's gonna have an ID number on there. So they're gonna wear them. So just in case they ever get lost and they're out on the road and we don't know and you can't identify them, all they have to go is to that wristband and look at that number, call it in. We'll have all the information. We'll have who to contact, what medical issues that they may have, where do they live, and maybe we can take them back and call their loved ones. And I think that's going to be a great program for us because we do have issues where we're fighting Alzheimer's, dementia. I have a mom that has dementia, so it's hard, and I understand these things. So it's not something that I'm just talking because I read about it. It's something because I live it. So I think this is something that's going to be very, very positive for us.
There's a future program
Yes, ma'am, it is.
the public, if they wish to register
Yes, ma'am.
and participate in that program.
Correct. And so that's a program for us, and it's called Take Me Home program. So it's going to be really, really instrumental for us. And there's one more program that we're working on also that's going to come into flourish. So you have video cameras in your home, for instance. I want you to register them with the Alice Police Department. So we won't have access to them. We're not going to be able to look into your home or anything like that, but we're just going to know that you have one. So anytime we have a burglary that occurs in your neighborhood, we can always go back and see who's registered in that area and look at the cameras that they have, and maybe we can go back and use that as assisting us with the investigation. So that's going to be another great program for us. So we're excited. There's a lot of things that we're doing. One of the things, before I end, is going back to the school district. We talked about school resource officers. And the school district we've talked about going halves. They pay half the salary of a school resource officer. The city pays half. And I think we've talked for 2 officers. And the school has said yes. Our city manager has said, go for it. We'll find the money. Let's do it. And so if we're able to put these school resource officers in our school districts, it's not just going to be about roaming the halls. It's going to be about education educating our kids and having programs in our kids at the high school level, at the elementary, at the junior high. And so we're really going to target those types
So
of
it'd be
things.
would it be sort of like the DARE program?
Kind of, sort of, yes. And we can incorporate some of these programs into the school district, like the DARE or like Grapevine, I believe it was the other one that was called, and maybe about gangs and drug affiliation, mental abuse, physical abuse. Things of that nature, and I think those are important factors that need to be brought to this community. I think education has to be the center point of where we're going and what we want to do.
Yes, I think it's important to have our officers out there and, reaching out to the public and just getting familiar. Sometimes our public interacts with us only when it's an incident or an issue. So it's kind of nice if you're out in the public and they're able to see you and get familiar with you. So some of these programs would be awesome for our children.
And I want to
and
reach
helpful.
out, and if you don't mind, Mayor, to our housing authority, who's given us a building,
Oh,
one of
yes.
their apartments, so we can utilize as a substation. My goal is, once we're in there, is to walk the haciendas, walk the heritage, and let the people know who we are, what we do, walk those neighborhoods, and going and talking about what you're discussing, community policing. I think we need to humanize people. And right away, when you stop somebody, you think they're a criminal, or no, they're not. They're human. They're a parent, their father, their mother, their sister, their brother. And so we need to know that we need to humanize those people, and that's what's important for us. And I think taking it to that level and reaching out and talking. Matter of fact, I met with downtown. I had a little gathering with the downtown folks and trying ways, how can we improve, right? And we have to start somewhere. And so they have their concerns, and I'm going to try to address their concerns. And I told them our next meeting, I want to have solutions. I just don't want to go to the next meeting with the same agenda that we had the
Right.
last time. I want to
Yes.
make sure that we have solutions to their problems. And I'm not saying that I'll solve everything, but we can try, and that's where it all starts.
Well, I think in our officers, I mean, they put themselves out there. It's not easy with some of the incidents that they face. It's a dangerous job, and we appreciate our officers. We love our officers, and I think with interaction and education, our young teenagers, our children will get to know our officers and get to know what they're about, and of course, there should be a level of respect and love for them too, because it's not an easy job.
It's not. It's tough, and especially with the way things are changing nowadays. We have a hard time recruiting, and it's been really, really tough for us. But it's like that anywhere, because the times have changed so much. Not just anybody wants to be a police officer anymore, and so it's hard to recruit. But you're right. There has to be a level of respect, not just in our community, but also in our
Overall.
officers. Overall, it's got to go both ways.
Yes.
And so, when we're able to get to that level, we'll be okay. But at this time, it's about learning. It's about evolving.
Education.
And education. That's what it's all about. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and we have a wonderful community that I know embraces our police officers, and I'd love to see that interaction. So God willing, we'll have programs and we're able to establish that, that familiarity with our police officers and our community and the public.
It does. And what that transpires and what happens because of that is people are more willing to come talk to you.
Yes.
Because you do have a lot of crimes out there in this community that people don't report because they're afraid. And maybe they just don't know who to report it to. Yes, they can call the police department, but it's not the same. What if I knew Officer Elizondo that's out there, I'll call Officer Elizondo. And the only way we're going to get to know they're going to get to know these officers is if the officers take it to them and knock on their doors and introduce themselves and go by their neighbor, go by their place of business, visiting those places. We're gonna have building checks now. We just ordered the tags where officers are going to go by and visit and knock on your door and check to make sure everything's secure, and also for neighborhoods and cars, and because that's where we've been facing a lot of burglaries. So we want to make sure that we're being proactive when we're doing these approaches. But yes, ma'am, it works both ways when it comes to police officers and this community has been great to work for.
Oh, it's an awesome,
Yes,
awesome
ma'am.
community. I go out there and there's so many people, especially when we had that severe storm, not too long ago, where there were trees that had fallen. There were, branches in the street. There were so many citizens out there helping their neighbor, picking up trees. And I'm gonna say a story. He does not know that I'm gonna mention this. Someone actually, I spoke to a citizen yesterday that had called me, and they mentioned that you didn't see them, but they saw you. You were driving in, and you got off your vehicle and you were picking up branches, moving branches out of the street. So they said, thank the police chief for doing that for us. I've never seen that happen in our community, so thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think a lot of times when you least expect it, right? And doing the right thing is just doing the right thing all the time, even when no one is looking. That's when, it's
Right.
more important for you and for us and for this community. And I thank that
Yes.
citizen.
Yeah, I thought that was an awesome story,
Yes,
and I thought I'd share it right now. It
Yes,
came to
ma'am.
mind, so.
Yes, ma'am.
I also, there was a citizen that a tree had fallen over and there were some hawks. They were injured,
Yes, ma'am.
and they picked them up. They put them in their vehicle. They coordinated with the Texas Wildlife. Wildlife couldn't come all the way. There was some boundaries or something. They drove them and turned over those injured birds. And those birds were released, I was told, and that's the conversation that we were having yesterday. Those birds were released yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and they're healthy. And they said, don't be surprised if they return to Alice, to that same tree, and sure enough, they did.
They
So-
did. That's
So,
awesome.
no, thank you to our community and our citizens for all they do. We're doing our best. I know that there's issues with brush pickup, the high grass, and we're all facing different challenges.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're gonna try to work through them, but, those are some exciting things that the Wyatt Ranches Foundation were so generous to give us that grant, and that was a grant that was enough to purchase 3 vehicle police units. And I believe they had given another grant, and forgive me for not remembering, was it to the,
So they gave it to the FFA through our school district, through the
Okay.
Alice ISD school district. Our FFA program received $45,000 through the White Ranches for equipment for their agriculture building. So that was awesome.
Gosh.
More than anything, it's for our kids. It's for their future and developing them to be active in our community for jobs. And teaching them. So that was awesome. That was so awesome. And you
what
know
a
what?
blessing.
It
Yes.
was, and the White Ranches Foundation told them come back in January, and we'll help you again. So
Oh,
that
my
was
goodness.
so cool.
Thank you so much to them, and thank you to our citizens that volunteer and help and put on events for our city. It's going to take, again, a collaboration of everyone coming together. Bear with us. We are looking into figuring out how we can do our brush pickup, because there is a lot of brush out there. And I know our codes department's also trying to work on mowing lawns and stuff. So, but we also haven't. I wanted to mention the ARP Act, the rescue. We're receiving some funds, 4.07, but we have not received those yet. So we'll keep you updated on how those would be handled and when we do receive those. And I know that the council also at the last meeting approved the fire department to move from 3rd Street. They're moving to the Armory.
That is
So-
correct. They're
so
moving
that's
out there.
That's exciting too, and they feel that would be our police chief, sorry, our fire chief, Mr. Patrick Thomas, had mentioned and showed us some diagram that would be also helpful with additional coverage and helping our citizens. So there's a lot of exciting things going on, and I'm looking forward to what's next. And there's, I know there's some businesses, God willing, coming in, so we're excited.
Yes, ma'am. When we came into this city, it was exciting, and it's been exciting. It's been a wonderful experience because there's so many good people here.
Oh, yes.
And we've been very fortunate to know them, to get to meet them. But overall, we came in with a 1-year plan, and I think in the last 3 months we've done like 40% or 50% of my 1-year plan. So it's coming to an end quickly, and we're tackling these issues. But this community has been awesome. This council has been awesome. Our city manager, I can't say enough. He's been really, really helpful to us, and so we're excited. And most of all, my officers. These officers have worked
yes.
hard. They've done a great job. They don't get the credit that they deserve, but I'm letting them know today that they are doing a wonderful job, a great job. They have my support. I will back them. And I always tell them this. I said, one of the things that's funny is I tell them when things are going great for them in their lives, you're not going to see me. But when things go bad, I'll always be there. And I'll never leave their side.
Oh.
And so I want them to know that. And that is true for me.
Well, I echo that. The city also backs up our police officers, our fire, all our essential workers, everyone, all our citizens, but our police officers, we know, are at the forefront, and we appreciate y'all. We really do, and we thank you for everything y'all do, and we look forward to bigger and better things.
Of course, we're always looking ways to improve. And one thing that I do ask of this community, if you have ideas, bring them to us. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have concerns, we're tackling one of the concerns. One of the complaints I get is cars driving by real fast, right? And a lot of it is quality of life for them. And it's not about the burglaries, it's not about this, but about speeding, about other issues, but more quality of life issues. And I want them to know that I'm tackling these issues. We're going to address them. We're going to figure out how we're going to do it, but I need your help. And together we'll get it done more than anything else. And that's what I want this community to know.
Also just wanted to remind everyone about our Hyper Reach. We are in hurricane season. We are trying to get the booklets out. I apologize. We had mentioned those were coming out on the 1st, and we're trying to locate them. They're lost somewhere, but we will be getting those out to y'all. And there is a website. We can put that out there, but there is, don't forget to register for the Hyper Reach. And you can go to the city website and scroll to the very bottom. There's a link there, hyper-reach, and just click on that link, and it'll take you how to a site to register. Sorry, forgive me for that, but try to do that. It helps us in knowing what your needs are. There's also a preparation is key on our website and if you can, it'll tell you what to do to prepare for an emergency with as far as hurricane season. So I want to thank you for being our guest today. Thank you for the information and the updates, and again, blessings to you and all our police officers and our citizens out there too. And thank you for everything you do, and thank you for being patient with us. And we're working through these things. So again, thank you.
I do thank you. Thank you for having me here. And anytime you have a show and you need me, I'll be here. I'll always be by your side. And just thank this community for everything they've done for us. When we had a law enforcement month and that day, so many people reached out and brought goodies and brought pizzas. And I want to thank them, more than anything. Yes, we posted it on Facebook, but I wanted to take this time to thank them, Home Health, to all the other organizations that came and dropped off goodies for the officers. It meant a lot to them. I want you to know that. And even some of our dispatchers made goodies for the goodie bags for the officers. So I just want to say thank you. It's been great experience.
And you do have also a Facebook that our citizens can go to and like that page.
Yes, and we're giving valuable information. Like here recently, our last post that we created was locking your doors, and people we're noticing that our burglaries that are happening of a vehicle, and we're very fortunate, we don't have a lot of home burglaries, knock on wood, but we do have a lot of car vehicles or vehicles being burglarized, and people just are not locking their doors. And they're leaving valuables inside their house. Inside their cars. So we need them to make sure that, please, before you go to bed at night, that you lock your cars. Please, that's what we ask.
Okay, and visit the website, their Facebook page.
Yes, ma'am.
They'll have those items on there and some information for y'all. And again, thank you for listening. Thank you to our staff, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.